Thank you so much for coming today to our fall faculty concert. We have a really lovely program for you today that isn't going to be very, very long, which is our favorite. It's probably a little less than an hour of some incredible music. I'm Jolinda Burton, I'm the director of Monteverdi, and I just want to say an extra special thank you to the faculty that are performing today. They are donating their performances in honor of raising money for our scholarship fund, which is so important. And this fall, the board had more applications for scholarship than we've ever had at one time, which we were very excited about, but it quickly depletes the funds when we start giving them out. And it's a balance of promoting the scholarship fund to our community, having opportunities to perform and fill the coffers back up. And so it's sort of like get the word out so that people will take advantage of it and then have opportunities to fill it back up. So this is the latter, and I thank you for being here to help us do that. The only other thing I want to say before we get started is this fall we are starting something called a deep dive lecture series. And the first one is this Friday, November 22nd, 6:30 to 8. Javier Jimenez, one of the owners of Bookspieler, is going to be talking about music, particularly why he feels so strongly about 1973 in popular music. So we're going to be doing those about once a month. And I really hope that you will go on our website and find out more. If there's a topic that's of interest to you, the one in December is about jazz in 1959 from Matt Delegati, who is an incredible jazz guitar player locally. And I think that it's going to be really fun. It's a chance for music nerds to hang out. And I think we can all appreciate that. Without further ado, we're going to get started. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Eric Nielsen. I teach composition here at Monteverdi. A little bit of background. For 30 years, I taught at the Green Mountain Suzuki Institute over in Rochester, Vermont. One of the teachers who preceded me and was there also when I was there was a piano teacher who was known affectionately as Dr. Jim. And I saw him at work with his students for a number of years, but then one year he didn't come. And I was told that he was having health issues, that he was suffering from cancer. The next year, when I showed up the first day to teach, I found out that not only had Dr. Jim died recently, but there would be a memorial program for him on Wednesday. I quickly went to one of the parents, who happened to be a professional violinist, Marcia Cassidy, professional violist. And I asked her whether if I wrote a piece for this ceremony, she would play it. And she said she would certainly try. So I went home from camp on Monday, I wrote the piece that you're about to hear Monday evening. I brought it into her Tuesday. She spent all day practicing it and played it for me, and then the next day she performed it at the ceremony. In the intervening years, Liz Reed has made the piece her own. It's called The Empty Chair because my image is always of Dr. Jim sitting next to his students in the chair, gently and humorously guiding them until he was no longer able to. I hope you enjoy this.
Nelia, can you go sit with Papa? Please? My daughter likes to come up and interact during the performances sometimes. Nelia. No. Oh, you're good. You're good. My child.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yep, we're in.
So I'd like to talk a little bit about it first. So Billy Joel, as many of you know, is one of the most iconic American songwriters of today's day and age, and certainly no exception during the 70s. Famous for greatest hits like Captain Jack, Piano Man, You're My Home, or For the Longest Time. Some of you may be surprised to know that he also wrote classical music. Specifically Fantasies and Delusions for solo piano in the early 2000s. And because he felt more comfortable playing pop-style piano, he relied on the American Korean pianist Richard Ju to transcribe a lot of his works and record them on the piano himself. So you wouldn't have to worry about touching a single note. So the one I'm going to play for you is called Nunley's Carousel, inspired by that famous merry-go-round in Brooklyn.
called Der Freischütz, and it means the magic bullet, loosely. The plot is very complicated, so I'm not going to try to explain the whole thing, but quickly, the translation. Ancan is this character, and she's singing to her cousin, Agatha, who's nervous. She had a nightmare the night before her wedding, that she's terrified that she's going to be killed by a magic arrow. So Ancan says, to comfort her, she tells her this ghost story, and she says, once my late cousin dreamed that the bedroom door had opened. Her nose had turned chalk white, for close by a monster was creeping with eyes like fire and a clinking chain. It came to the bed in which she was sleeping. I speak of my cousin with the chalky nose. It moaned, oh, so hollowly. It groaned so deeply. After many anguished and hurried prayers, my cousin crossed herself and called out, Susanna, Margaret, Susanna, Margaret. And then they came with a lantern. And just think, don't be frightened. And, oh, I'm horrified. And the ghost was Nero, the watchdog. Then her Ancan's cousin Agatha turns away and is disgusted by this, and Ancan says, are you angry with me? How can you imagine that I don't feel for you? Tears are not befitting for a bride. And then the main aria she sings, trying to make her feel better, she says, worried eyes, my dear, are no use to a lovely bride. She ought to refresh herself and be delightful and enchant with her glances. She should enchant everyone around her. This is her happy task. Let the penitents mourn within the desolate walls. The rosy light of hope beckons to you. The candles are already lit for the union of two faithful hearts. My lovely friends, have no fear. And that's the whole thing. Yeah.
It's Troy, tell me
expensive seat. You got piano or not piano? Huh? Might take us a second to put together what we're doing.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes. So, somewhat of a sideways maneuver now.
Does anyone recognize either of these instruments? Yeah? What do we got?
Oh, haha, a ringer
is
in the
one?
second
Yes.
row.
So we have, what are you playing right now?
So, this is a set of Scottish small pipes, small indoor bagpipes. This set is in C.
Which means that I'm going to tune my viola down a whole step, which is odd to play on. So we're probably going to tune a little bit now. Forgive us our intonation.
Yeah, they're reeds, and it's not the time of year for reeds, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's an instrument born in perpetual damp. Anyway, we're going to play tunes from an area of perpetual damp, the border, the English and Scottish border country. The first one maybe is even from the very south of the Highlands, because it was written by the fellow who made these, a man named Hamish Moore, who's a fantastic piper and pipe maker, was at the forefront of the sort of revival of this instrument. And he wrote a tune called High Over Van Afton, which he was high over Van Afton when it came into his head, you know. And then the following one is an old lowland tune called The Mill.
then I would like to tune again.
So these are a type of bagpipe. Forgive me for those of you who already know about this. I tend to find that people know everything about bagpipes, which is they know one bagpipe. Or they know everything about bagpipes and they know about all of the bagpipes.
No, in between.
And not much in between. These are a type of bagpipe called a bellows pipe, because instead of blowing into them, and I've had people come up and look at me and they're like, it's electric? But in this case, I have a bellows under my right arm. And there's a whole cadre of bagpipes around Europe. Like every country in Europe had 3 or 4 different types of bagpipes regionally. And usually they had both mouth-blown bagpipes, where you filled the bag here by blowing into it, and they had bellows ones like this. Some of them survived, many of them did not. And the reason that the big ones that everybody knows when you say bagpipe survived is because they were adopted by the British military and went around the world with empire. So, you know, I was going to say for good and ill, but... So my friend Finmore, that's Hamish's son, who took over the pipe making, he adjusts his reeds so delicately that he can play one drum, and then as the tune comes round, he hiccups with the bag, and another drone comes in, but not both of them. And then as the tune comes round again, he hiccups the bag again, and all 3 drones start playing.
And you're going to do that, right?
And this makes me want to beat him over the head with a lead pipe. Because I cannot do this. He's a far superior
Piper?
piper and pipe maintenancer than I am. We're going to continue on with a couple more lowland tunes. The first one is what's called a triple horn pipe. It's a type of dance tune that is in 3/2 or 9/4, if you are into time signatures. But for those of you who aren't, it has a kind of big 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 effect to it. And from that we'll go into a jig. And jigs are in sort of 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, or edible elephant, if you would like a better mnemonic for a jig. Edible elephant, edible elephant, edible. Reels, by the way, are animated alligator, animated alligator. First tune is called Cuddy Clatter, and the second one is called Holy Halfpenny. Thank you very much. And now to get weirder. I have a good friend plays the uilleann pipes, the Irish bagpipes, which are particularly
Pretty weird.
Weird and
Yeah.
octopusy type of instrument. And when I told him I'd gotten a hold of a hurdy-gurdy some years ago, he said, "Ha, you've out-weirded me."
Ben tends to collect odd instruments of all sorts.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is your weirdest. Is this your weirdest?
That depends how you look at these things. There are a couple of bagpipes that have two different chanters
Oh, those
that
are
play against each other. Those are pretty
Weird.
eccentric. So this is
Very good.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, a hurdy-gurdy in English. Not to be confused with a barrel organ. Barrel organs are not actually hurdy-gurdies, although they sometimes get called that. They're the ones with the crank and the monkey. No monkey, that's how you can tell the difference. And the French call it, maybe have the best name for it. They call it a vielle à roue, which is a wheel fiddle, basically. Because, in fact, it's more or less a fiddle. It has the same bridge.
You have keys.
Strings. And then it's got two major differences. The one is that instead of a bow, it has a wheel underneath that rubs on the strings from the underside. And the other is it has a key box to change the length of the string. So when you press a key, these little flags called tangents hit the string, and it works effectively like a monochord. For those of you who are Pythagoras fans, and you just divide the chord. Like that. And then it sort of breaks away from fiddleness, and it has things that drones. Like that. And then the niftiest thing is that one of the drones has what's called a dog, or chien in French, a buzzing bridge, and that means that you can play rhythm on it. And what happens is every time you accelerate your wheel, one end of the bridge goes tick, 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 tick. And what's interesting is it does it at the same speed that the string is vibrating.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's why the pitch that goes, the bzz, is at the right pitch. This even has two of them.
The downside of all of his instruments are there are a lot of things you have to tune again and again and again and again and again.
Sorry, there are.
He has 9 strings. Seems unnecessary. Right?
11.
11? Oh, I forgot.
All right,
All right.
worth a try, I think. So we're going to play, attempt to play anyway, for you a a couple of English tunes, English traditional music. It's interesting, I'm from England, strictly speaking, I'm from Liverpool. But Liverpool's a very Irish city, so I actually grew up playing traditional Irish music, and I hardly knew that English traditional music existed for quite a long time. And in fact, it was much harder to find, when I was young, good English traditional music than it was to find good Irish traditional music, of which there was quite a lot. More recently, it's gone through a, I don't know, Renaissance might be a bit strong, or third or fourth Renaissance, or whatever, but there's a lot of good players both playing old traditional English tunes and playing, and making new ones. And these are two new tunes. The first one is called Sydney for Long, as opposed to Sydney for short.
Sid for short.
Sid for short. Sid for short. Yeah, Sid for short. Sydney for Long.
Yeah.
Right. And it's by a guy named Sam Street, I think. He plays in a band called Leverett.
Which if you don't know, check them out.
Yeah, check out Leverett. They're really fantastic. Andy Cutting plays box, and it's really good. Button accordion. And the second one is by Nigel Eaton. Now, Nigel Eaton actually is a hurdy-gurdy player. His dad made them for many years. Chris Eaton, fantastic hurdy-gurdies. And Nigel has the distinction among hurdy-gurdy players of being the most rock and roll because he toured with Jimmy Plant and Jimmy Page and Roger Plant. Yeah, so...
There's some pretty amazing videos of him, like, rocking out with a hurdy-gurdy. It's hilarious.
Before they play Gallows Hall. Right, sorry. Being told to get on with it, quite understandably.
much. If anybody would like to come and see one of
The weird instruments?
Come downstairs, I
See
think.
one of the weird instruments downstairs. Yeah.
Right on.
Thank you, everyone. I forgot to mention the raffle that we had at the front desk there. We did a random number drawing on that. And so the winner of the 2 tickets to the Christmas show is Judy Armel. Armel? Yeah, I remember you. So I'll talk to you right after. And then for our 2 movie tickets for our kids, Ryan Young.